Hello, wonderful people. This is Voting Voices. My name is Miriam Udwa-Mensa, and on Voting Voices, what we essentially try to do is to give you a reason to vote right, because there are quite a number of people who are voting for the very first time this year, and so it's important to give clarity on why it's necessary to vote. Now, another question that one will ask, why am I voting? Well, we're going to find out today. If you live in the Medina constituency, we're going to find out why you should actually vote. Okay? Again, my name is Miriam, and this is Voting Voices. Our guest today on Voting Voices is currently a member of the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana, representing the Medina constituency. He's also a deputy ranking member of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee of Parliament. Francis-Xavier Sosu is my guest on Voting Voices today. In Parliament, he made history by spearheading the abolishing of the death penalty in Ghana, cementing his legacy as a defender of human dignity. Beyond the legislation, Sosu has launched impactful initiatives such as legal clinics and Medina Job Center, providing opportunity for constituents to thrive. With his visionary leadership and unwavering dedication, Honorable Sosu exemplifies the power of resilience and service. Ladies and gentlemen, on the show, Voting Voices today, I have Honorable Francis-Xavier Sosu. Good evening, good morning, wherever anybody's watching from. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, and I hope you're doing well too.
I'm doing wonderful. We're very humbled to have you sit here with us.
Well, it's a pleasure being here. It's a very, very difficult time.
Yeah, it is.
We're running, several campaigns.
Absolutely.
From churches to mosques to markets to youth group meetings, walks, door to door. And so it's quite
tedious.
Yeah, it is.
It's time to also sit down and give your people a reason to understand why they're voting for you.
I agree. I mean, the purpose of leadership, or one of the key foundations of leadership, is accountability. Yes. And I think there's no better time to account than when it is time to vote again. Then the people want to know what you did with their mandate for the last 4 years, and whether you are actually fit to rerun.
Absolutely.
Or the people think that you didn't perform well, so they want to vote you out.
Absolutely.
So it's been a very exciting moment when we engage our young people on our policy directions and what I propose to them, and how far I've come with those proposals. And what I believe I can do when when my mandate is renewed for another 4 years.
Absolutely.
So it's been exciting.
I think two things made you a little bit more popular. One of it being you helping the speaker for the new force, Shali, on her case. And a lot of people came for you on the issue. How did you handle the pressure amidst you trying to defend a young lady?
Well, I mean, I'm quite used to that now. Okay. And you would realize that one of the very recent songs that I've just released, titled Grace for Race, is an account of my own story of how things have been one battle to another, right? So I have seen that in so many ways since being a human rights lawyer for the last 15 years. I've been in and out of prisons. I've been in, not in and out of prison, not as in I've been jailed, please. I'm not a convict, Defending people. The Justice for All program represented some over 800 people who are pre-trial detainees. Having the chance to take on cases where you have to come against very powerful individuals or powerful institutions. And it's always been a bit rough, but somehow I've always found a grace, for the race. So
absolutely.
I'm grateful to God for that strength. And that of Shalima is still even ongoing as I speak. The ECOWAS court agenda last time we were in court for judgment. So we're actually waiting for that very crucial judgment on that matter, because we still believe that she was not given a fair hearing. I mean, it's okay if your local laws, somebody has breached your local law, it's fine. But, you know, in criminal justice, we have what we call the substantive laws and procedural laws. So human rights actors are more interested not only in the substantive laws, but also the procedure. So the fact that you allege that somebody has stolen money doesn't mean that you can just jump on the person and start beating the person, or people allege people that they are witches.
Yes.
Meanwhile, you don't even have any basis of ascertaining that they are witches, and you start beating them because that is your own way of meting out instant justice. But it's one thing alleging that somebody has breached a law, it's another taking the person to lay down procedures in accordance with law, so that the right of the person is protected in a way. So, it's important that people will understand this remit of the law. But I don't blame many people who don't really also have good appreciation of this area. They think maybe you're just trying to support someone who has violated the law or something. But the truth is that everyone can fall victim at any point in time, and so. It is like the golden rule: do unto others what you want them to do unto you.
That's okay.
You know? And so it's good.
I mean, I must say that it was quite interesting to watch the comments and the conversations around that, and how much you stood firm to make sure that whatever you were.
I mean, you would recall that even me, in trying to assert my right to protest and leading my constituents to fight for just roads. I mean, I wasn't even fighting for something personal. Because I don't live at Danfa. I live at Panta. The police were helter-skelter chasing me from everywhere as though I was just a common criminal.
Absolutely.
There was a bench warrant issued by the court for the arrest of Sosu whilst I was in court. I was in parliament. I mean, all kinds of drama around. So I have seen drama all over. I mean, you also recall even when my practicing license as a lawyer was taken away. In that infamous case, which the General Legal Council suspended me, even when the High Court quashed their suspension, they said they disagree with the High Court. Now, how can the High Court quash a decision of a panel made up of Supreme Court judges? So I've seen
you've been in the midst of a lot of controversy.
It's not controversy. That is the beauty of life. You see, a life without battles is without. Is without champions. Right? Simple. I mean, the only time you excel, right? The only time we call you a success. Right, is measured by the obstacles that you have overcome, you know, in order to become, that successful. And so it's also important that as we go through life, we look at the impediments that come our way as platforms on which we can rise. I mean, if you are a Christian, for example, in the book of, I think, Psalm 34 verse 19, it says that many are the afflictions of the righteous. Many are the afflictions, but the Lord delivers him from them all. So honestly, a life without battle where it will be a very uninteresting life. I don't think I want to live that type of life.
Now let's come back to all the amazing things, because really, essentially, what we're trying to achieve with this interview is to give your constituents a reason to come back and re-elect you, because we believe that a lot of MPs or members of parliament representing the different constituencies are doing quite a number of things that are not very famous or are not in the limelight as much as they should, and there are some people who are very modest with their works, who don't want to talk or post or do all the stuff on social media. So we're giving this platform so that we can talk about the things you've done. You contested in 2016 and lost.
That's true.
And during that time,
it was in 2015
in the primaries. And so you couldn't go for the 2016 election. And during that time, I must say that you probably prepared yourself very well for the 2020 elections. Now you won this time, and then you were a member of parliament representing the Medina people. What have you done in the past 4 years?
Well, let me say that, in all honesty, I ran into the 2020 election believing that not only will I win the parliamentary seat, but I would also have supported His Excellency John Dramani Mahama win the presidential. So it was such a big blow. for me to win my seat and yet not have precedent. So that was the first setback. But like I said, setbacks are only opportunities for you to think creatively and think outside the box, or sometimes even think as though there are no boxes.
Right.
Then you can charter your own courses and you can bring about new innovation. So that was what I sought out to do. In the first place, when I was going around to campaign, a lot of young people were complaining about jobs. So even ahead of the election, in November 2020, we launched the Medina Job Center. And we had a very successful launch. The job center sought to do, I think, some 4 things. One, we're doing job connections. So some have finished school, they have certificates, and they don't even know where to start from.
Right.
So when you apply to the job center, there's a way we can connect you. And we have partnership with different individuals and organizations. And anytime they are looking for people to employ, they reach out to us. And we recruit for many people. And so that's what the job center had been doing. Then we had what we call skills enhancements or skills acquisition. So some people have finished school, but they don't have any critical skills for them to land a job. So sometimes we do special computer trainings. We do enhancement. We do sometimes we do website creation, and a lot of young people have even built careers out of that. Then we have what we call the entrepreneurship models, where people learn things like soap making. We have women in mushroom making. We have rabbitry, and people who have gone through training, and some of whom we have set up and they are doing their own businesses. Then we have the last tranche, which is young people who are learning apprenticeship program. We have people doing different things. Some are doing glass making, some are doing hairdressing, others are doing sewing. In fact, in about a week, we are going to be graduating our first batch of people who have done some of these trainings or apprenticeship programs, because they did it for 3 years. As I speak today, our impact in terms of everyone, whether direct or indirect impact, by the Medina Job Center will be over 7,000 people who have directly or indirectly benefited from the Medina Job Center. And we have the statistics. In fact, some are actually in Ghana, others through the job center are actually working abroad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and just last night, somebody on the platform sent me a private message that he is a beneficiary of the Medina Job Center, and he's currently working. And some of the organizations we have even are banks, hospitals. Unfortunately, I don't have the permission of a particular bank that we've been acting with to put their names out. At least we've done about 3 different banks, who we work with to recruit, for them.
Wonderful.
And so it's been quite interesting when it comes to the job creation and trying to get jobs for people. Then there is a second major project that we have, which is the health outreaches or the health project. Today, for example, we donated 300,000 to the health facilities around, so they can use it to refurbish an empty theater at the Kekele Hospital, and also to finish the Kekele, the Rolling Circle Polyclinic, a recovery ward. That it has been it's been there for a very long time. We also have provided some funds to the Oyarifa Health Center, which just got started. The Assembly just built that center, and it hasn't got anything at all. So we just provided them with some funds so they can operationalize the place. We provided financial support to also for some of the chiefs compound, like the Teman chiefs compound around Boga Town, for it to operationalize. Then quite apart from that, we have what we call the quarterly medical outreaches. And we've run more than 30 outreaches since I became Member of Parliament. We do eye care, we've done surgeries for people. I mean, it's just so many that I can't talk about. There are times that we provide what we call emergency medical intervention. Some people have conditions that are very expensive, and you need to either rally monies, or sometimes you have to virtually go and do undertakings on behalf of them, so you can pay through common fund. Some run up to 70,000, some 40,000, some 20,000, depending on the emergency situation that they have. And we want to use the platform to thank University of Ghana Medical Center that have always played a key role in this, because sometimes when they mention the bill, and maybe the person must go to ICU, and the person does not have, but you are the MP, so you have to do something. And they've always come through with me intervening by way of undertaking. Then we pay little by little to the UGMC. So it's also been very interesting. There's a major medical vision that I have, but in terms of like infrastructure, unfortunately, if you don't have an executive support, infrastructure becomes a bit of a challenge.
Absolutely.
So that's a limitation there. Then quite apart from the health, we also have a very progressive education project. And my education project has been dedicated to scholarships to young people at all levels of education. We have several people who have benefited. I mean, I don't have the exact numbers here. I would have mentioned them either through the university, master's level, and we have had people who have gone through here. Others have been travel abroad, and through the support that I give through the educational scholarship. Then we have what we call the Water for All project. Now, the Water for All project is dedicated to basic schools without potable water. So far, we've done about 12 of those mechanized boreholes in these areas. The target is to cover the entire every public school must have some mechanized boreholes so they can have potable water in those schools. And some of this potable water, some even have gone to like nurses training college in part-time, and so on and so forth. Then we have what we call our I call it the flagship program on the education project, which is the Best Teacher Award. And this we do every 2 years, where the overall best teacher goes home with a brand new car. We've run that twice this year during my administration. And we also run it for best administrator, so that we can award the head teachers who are performing well. And it's also been a very, very successful project so far. It's very, very exciting project. Then we do what we call retooling or library retooling. Somewhere last year, for example, we did over 23,000 books, Montessori books, valued at about 1.4 million Ghana cedis. And these are books that we shared to all schools, both public and private, across the constituency. So this is what we've been doing with education. Then we have what we call the Islam Project. Now, the Islam Project is a specialized vehicle that I use to reach out to my brothers and my sisters of Islamic faith. Because I'm a Christian and I don't want to forget my commitment to that critical mass in my constituency.
Absolutely.
The Islam Project. And then the Islam Project is headed by imams, very revered imams in Medina constituency. And under the Islam Project, we have what we call the Makaranta Improvement Program, where we brought all Makarantas together. As we speak now, we have actually developed a common curriculum for all Makarantas across the constituency, so that we'll have a way of appraising even that informal sector, and then we can also improve teaching and learning at the Makarantas, because it's an integral part of every young child who is born in an Islamic or Zongo community. And a part of Makaranta Improvement Project, we have what we call the Sosu Ramadan outreach. Where during every outreach, during every Ramadan, we do special outreaches for Ramadan. I
almost asked if you partner with Ramadan from Adenta.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, from time to time, I mean, we do things together.
Okay.
So it's been an exciting moment. So the Ramadan outreach is what we do. There's a usual religious obligation to give out during Ramadan. And a lot of institutions like TUDEC, we have Race for Aid. We have several organizations that actually come to our aid when we are doing those Ramadan outreaches.
That's quite a number of things, Honorable. You have done a lot of things.
In fact, the biggest with Medina, the Islam Project is our annual Sosu Children's Salah Fest.
Okay.
I mean, it's always, everybody looks forward to that. I mean, all
I'm
the
sure
children,
that's like some big party.
It's big every year. I mean, it happens and the kids, they love it.
Oh.
So when I pass through Medina West Rana Zongo, the kids, they call me Sosu. Like, that's where we go have all the fun.
Wonderful.
So it's been an amazing journey, running around trying to do all these things. Plus several others that sometimes we can't even talk about. For example, when the Medina market was on fire, we did emergency relief for some market women, 5,000 each, for them to be able to reset up again. And sometimes we have major medical conditions, maybe kidney or some tumor, we need to go do fundraising to support some of them. And so my philosophy really is that as a member of parliament, there are 3 key responsibilities that you have. And my philosophy about these responsibilities is what makes me do what I do. For example, 1, your key responsibility is to be a legislator. You must be a law maker. So go and make laws.
Yes.
So the ever person will tell you that the parliament is called sewa water,
okay,
meaning that we go there to do laws. Or the Gamma will tell you that mla will be or now said the account person obviously mrashebe jeffi.
Yeah.
You call Koshimra. You say your MPR, your first duty is say, oh, Kwakobwami, I am Mra, Bebwa, Mino. You put together laws that can help the country.
Right.
That's the first duty. Then the second one is oversight, where you hold the government accountable for all the policies, the monies you approve for them. So, for example, if government says that one district, one factory, it's my duty to find out, government, where is the factory in Medina? Because Medina is a municipality. If we say one village, one dam, we have a number of villages in Medina. For example, we have from Utinibi, then we have Adotema, then we have Damfa. Damfa is town, but it's when we come to Medina, it's rural Medina.
Okay.
Then we have Aimens, and we have Kwema, we have Nyamikrum. We have Igbe town, all these areas. If you go to Boga town, where is our dam? We don't have the dams also. When we say it's a year of roads, then we'll be looking for our roads. So, as part of accountability, you hold government. For example, in parliament, you file parliamentary questions, so you can ask those questions about those roads. And it's part of that led me to lead that even demonstration, because it's part of my duty to demand for those things. Because if government says I've given the road for contract, then why are you not doing the roads? If I can't hear, if I don't get the feedback, then we can mobilize against the government, right? So eventually it's part of oversight. Then the third one is where you then become an agent of development in your community. Now, there are 2 main types of development. One is the physical development, and the other one is what we call the human development.
Okay.
So when if you fall in a position like mine, where you have to work as an MP from opposition, you are most likely not to be able to excel too much on physical development.
Yeah, okay.
Because physical development is in the preserve of executive.
Okay.
Because government will approve money, and sometimes they may do some of those things through the assembly. And so if you are an MP in opposition, unfortunately, you may not be able to do much when it comes to physical development.
Okay.
Because the assembly goes round, collect what we call the property rate. So when you come to collect property rate, you should be interested in where the property is. You should be interested in how the property, how the area has been planned. So when you go to the assembly, we have the planning department, we have engineering department, we have a department of urban roads, we have department of feeder roads. So the questions must go directly to them. However, because the municipal chief executive and those who work there don't go back for the popular mandate or seek the popular mandate of the people, they always run away from that accountability. Okay. So the people now begin to ask, MP Gotan, MP road, MP, because it is your face that comes always to them asking for vote. So, but it's like a computer. When you key in a wrong command, there's no you can get a right answer. It's the reason why many people over the years may say, oh, road, MP road, and yet they don't see the road. Because within the space, there is no financial provision. There is no space within our operation that allows you to have money to construct road. There is no way. Your best you can do is sometimes we do what we call the just intermediary activities. Since when I came, we've done some gradings. Okay. But if you do a grading for about, let's say, 120,000, and then in 3 months or the rains come and the roads go bad again, how would you get another money to go and redo those grading again? And what would be the source of that money? And would that be the best way of actually spending that money? Because particularly when these roads are used by people who are paying their tolls, paying their taxes to central government, for central government to respond to those needs. And so this dichotomy is what makes some people not see it well. But my approach has been that for the fact that my government is not in power and I may not be able to excel in physical development does not mean that I cannot creatively think outside the box and lead the way to bring about other form of human development and social development, which I have championed through the job center, through the edu scheme, and through our health project. And this is how I've been going about it.
I'm super impressed. I have lived in your constituency for about 2 years, and I've had my own personal concerns. I'll talk about it later. But let's talk about how you have and I love that you actually brought it up, because when your party is in opposition, when you're operating through a party that is in opposition, you're likely to have the conversation of, oh, my budget was not approved, I didn't get support as much as I need to. But you've done quite a number of things. How are you able to lobby for these projects? How are you able to gather finance for all these projects that
you would realize that for most of the projects that I've done, they are projects not directly funded by government.
Okay.
I must be honest that there are a few of the things that we've done through the various projects that may get some support from common fund.
Okay.
But much of what we've done have been things through private funding, support from partners and individuals who believe in their vision and in their dream. For example, last year when we donated medical supplies worth over 1 million Ghana cedis. It was a benevolent institution in the US that actually supported us. With containers of medical supplies that we gave out. And when we did the books outreach, over 1.4 million Ghana cedis, over 23,000 Montessori books, they were waterproof books. And when we're sharing this across, these were like an organization that are partners of ours that went around doing that. Today, when we did the special donation to the Kekele polyclinic, we realized that in the polyclinic, they have 2 rooms for purposes of surgery, and they were empty. Completely empty. But this is a hospital that is serving over 35,000 people in the community. So today, I had a group of professionals. Some of them are actuarial scientists, medical doctors, who are all based in the US. And these are Ghanaians who had reps here today, so they can ascertain the issues. They would go back and try to raise funding and support so we can actually retool these facilities. So this is what I've been doing, trying to go outside of the immediate government funding. But a few of them have seen, for example, this year when we're doing the Best Teacher Award, we part of the funding came from Get Fund, the MP's portion of Get Fund, which we assess through the Assembly. So that's how we manage around it. Yes.
All right.
But it's been very stressful.
It definitely would be, because it's how you have to make sure that you merit another vote from your constituency. Now, one other thing. Okay, let me now voice out my concern. I've moved from 2 different places because of crime. Yes, and the other will be that we have a small foundation called Hey Girl, which is a foundation I happen to be a team lead on. And one of the things that we noticed when we started working was that there were a lot of young girls who were working very interested, let me put it this way, interested in jobs, and on the jobs they were being abused quite a lot, but there's nobody to go to. And as a young lady, I'll be like, how is the Member of Parliament supporting these kind of initiatives? Later on, we realized that the Vice President brought the hostel for the headquarters, which was one of our key targets, that if we get enough support, we're going to cater, or we're going to help these headquarters, discover the better version of themselves, really and truly. Then we saw that they got a hotel. It's like, okay, this is going to take them out of the street. But as the MP of the area, what have you done in the past 4 years to support these issues? People living in Medina and its environs feeling safe.
Well, in fact, you put so many things in that small question. Because in that question is the issues of crime, safety, the general issue of insecurity, and then also of issues of like headquarters and maybe even street dwellers.
Absolutely.
And let me say on authority that I really identify very much with the issues that you are talking about, because a few years back, I used to walk on the streets of Medina selling ice water. And many people don't even know this. The role of social welfare those days. I used to work in those years selling ice water.
Wow.
And so my street life, living on the street at Malata, Newtown, and all that, did not only limit myself to only Malata, but there was a time that I had to be living on the streets right here, even in Medina. And so when I see all these young people, I connect with them. I know exactly what they're going through. The sad reality, though, is that dealing with those social matters requires a very well thought out programs and plans that are multifaceted to pull them out of the situation they are in. Recently, you see that I released a music album titled Race for Grace, and you can go look it up on YouTube. Race for Grace by SOG, Son of Grace. Yours truly, Francis-Xavier Sosu. Now, in that video, it's so interesting because when part of that video went viral on social media, people thought that I was just doing politics as usual because they saw me carrying loads. But they didn't know that I was actually living out my life, how it had been. And coincidentally, the young man whose track I took to act that scene told me when we finished that, oh, what are your plans for job creation? Because I completed the university. I have a degree in development studies from UDS. But because I had nothing in the north, I'm in the market pushing truck. And in fact, I was so struck I was so struck, and I felt sad, but then again, bringing myself to that level with him gave me an opportunity to learn something that I wouldn't have known if I had not reduced myself to that level to be with them. And so I took his number, and we've now been talking. His name is Godfred, and trying to look at what opportunity we can create for him, you know, to move out of the streets in the market so he can get something doing. Not only here, again in that video, the video begins with me sitting outside in front of a kiosk with some headquarters. She was speaking a very brilliant English. So I was like, so why are you here? She says, I completed a senior high school. And I don't have any opportunity to do further studies. And that's why I'm here. And that it's better for me to be here to do what I'm doing than to keep myself in the north without any opportunity. And so the problem is deep-seated. And if you look at what the vice president did, I mean, with all due respect to the vice president, it wasn't a well-thought-out project. It's just one of those politics. And I wouldn't do politics with such serious social issues because I know I've been there. I used to chase cars so I can sell refresh. Now we don't have refresh in the system. It metamorphosed into refresh used to be produced by Aztec. Yeah. Those of
you Gen Zs can't relate. You Gen Zs can't relate.
And guess what? When I began selling ice water, the ice water used to be in gallons. So I carry the gallon and I have a small bucket in which I have cups with lime. So that when you want to buy, I'll pick lime, clean up the cup because someone else had used it before I serve it with the ice water. Then when
that was an era in Ghana.
That was an era in Ghana. I lived in that era and I sold during that era. Before we changed to penny the penny, the one that then they put all the water inside, then we are all drinking.
No lime.
No lime.
No lime to clean it.
Before now, we have pure water and then bottled water. For now, I would say that our job center that we have, there are a number of young people in that situation that we are helping. We've been doing a number of outreaches to them, but those outreaches, I call them charity model. It doesn't pull them out of the
It does not.
You know, and so we have to move out of the charity model, but that will require a major state intervention. So I'm happy about the National Apprenticeship Program that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has proposed. I'm hoping that in that program, we can enroll a number of them. And I earlier on had said that the project in my constituency by the Vice President was not well thought out because when you go there now, it's not functional. It's not. So it was just a rush thing to just show that something had been done. It's not functional. All of them, as I speak to you right now, are still back in the market.
No.
They are not in the hostels. They are not training. In fact, what I have said we will do when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama comes is that I am going to advocate that hostel, as it currently is added to the Medina Vocational Training Institute.
Okay. So
that all these young girls, because the Medina Vocational Institute has been there for ages, the facilities are all dilapidated. And here we say we have built hostel for Kaya, which we are not using. And so I'm hoping that, you know, when you go to okay, I don't know that facility, we don't have some in Ghana, but it is just across social welfare. We can do a bridge that will connect them together, and there will be one single campus, and we can properly enroll the children in a vocational apprenticeship, a proper apprenticeship program.
Okay.
That, I mean, when they build adequate skills, we can properly win them off that situation. So these are some of the things I believe we could do moving forward.
Now let's move back to Parliament, where your intentions are to reappeal betting tax and e-levy. And it became a big conversation during this particular period because you almost became majority and your space...
Well, I don't know about almost. Because we haven't returned back to Parliament.
Yes, you have not.
Said and made an announcement.
Yes.
In fact, after the announcement, it's all been drama. Thankfully now, we have locked Parliament. The key is in our pocket.
Is it?
Yes, it's in our pocket.
When you say that, what do you mean?
We are here. Because the key is here.
But the Supreme Court has ordered that...
The Supreme Court cannot order us to Parliament.
Okay,
that's
so what they have done is that they have overturned the ruling of the Speaker of Parliament.
We don't know about that.
You don't know about that?
What we know is the Hansard of Parliament. The next time they call us, when we get there, we are looking at what the Hansard is saying.
Okay, so would you go and sit at the majority?
Absolutely.
Why?
The reason is that in Parliament, there is no rule as to where we sit because Parliament is master of its own rules.
Okay.
As we speak now, the NDC is both the working majority and the majority in reality in Parliament.
Okay.
I mean, you no matter how much how can you give an interpretation that says that if you were my wife, that I say I have divorced you, and that next year I'll marry another man, and you are saying that even though I've divorced you and I'll marry another man in the future, I should be with you until I marry another man.
Okay, with that, I cannot help you interpret this.
I mean, which interpretation is this one?
I cannot interpret.
Which kind of interpretation? Your girlfriend says she doesn't like you anymore.
Yes.
And you say you are going to look for another girlfriend. You say in the meantime, even though you don't like me anymore,
yes, and
you are actually fighting me, you can be with me until you get a new one.
It can happen, doesn't it?
How does that happen?
Okay.
Just can that happen? Please.
Help, honorable.
I'm looking for solutions.
Yes, honorable needs solutions.
In fact, I can't think far.
You can't think far.
In fact, I can't think far because the thing is too ridiculous.
Right.
And so, for example, the NDC.
Yes.
We have an MP, right, who is contesting our candidate. He is part of the reasons why his supporters took our candidate to court.
Yes.
And even the court ordered our candidate not to be a candidate, and then the EC took her out of the polls, right? The notice of polls. We have to now go back to court to be fighting so they can vacate for her to become a candidate.
Yes.
And you are saying that when we come back to Parliament, when we are having an NDC caucus meeting, he can come and sit with us.
No.
He can listen to our NDC strategy. It doesn't make sense. And the law is common sense. You know, when you go to law school, the rules of interpretation. There are several authorities, Ajechun versus the Republic, Asari versus the Republic. We can talk about Aaron Barak's book, Mr. Izzy's book, and they have taught any interpretation that leads to absurd consequences is not intended by the framers of the Constitution.
Okay.
So your interpretation, first of all, to do interpretation, you must, the rule is that look for the ordinary meaning of the word. If the ordinary meaning of the word will lead to some absurdity, then you have a warrant to depart from the ordinary meaning. And then you can discover the purpose of that provision and effectuate the purpose.
Okay.
So when you say that the purpose of the provision is that if a person changes political identity and seeks to remain in the same parliament with a new identity, he vacates the seat. Who will change his political identity and cross carpet in a sitting parliament and seeks to be in that parliament? It won't work. It is impracticable. It is repugnant to good conscience and common sense. So it won't work.
It won't work. It won't work.
It won't. So the provision properly activated when you have made an intention not to be with a particular political party anymore and change your identity, and you have confirmed that change by way of taking steps to file nominations and declarations with the EC, and you have been published on a notice of poll, automatically you are gone.
You're gone.
You're gone. So I don't know what the Supreme Court is doing.
Well, we will see how Parliament looks like before the 7th of December.
We get to Parliament.
But you guys will go.
Well, I'm hopefully we will go after election. Hopefully.
We need our honorables back in Parliament to at least run the short time we have in Parliament before
Honestly,
the December.
We really want to help them, but they don't want to help themselves.
Okay. Now let's go back to the e-levy and the taxes issue.
Well, you would see that this Parliament, in total, I may say, I probably might have introduced close to 20 bills.
Yes.
3 of them have passed into law. One of them abolished the death penalty, and that is what you talked about earlier on. It has presidential assent. We criminalize witchcraft accusation.
Yes.
The president is here to assent. I have bills on removal of taxes on sanitary pads, for young girls to deal with the period poverty.
Yeah.
Last year, in response to those proposals, the government removed 15% VAT, but we're still pushing. When you take that aside, we're looking for non-custodial sentences for petty offenses, adding mental health conditions to national health insurance, protection of vulnerable children, victims of sexual violations, tumor in children. So quite a number of things have been happening. And the most recent one, what you rightly alluded to, is the betting tax and the e-levy. The NDC majority have said that once we are properly constituted, these are the 2 major things we want to take away. Why? Because it is in line with the NDC manifesto promises. His Excellency George Dramani Mahama says that within the first 100 days is one of the most critical things he wants to do. So if that is what he wants to do, if we are his representatives in Parliament once we have the opportunity, we want to take the step, because then we are not only talking, we are actually taking positive steps in Parliament to effect, the objectives or the desires of our flag bearer. And so, anytime we have the chance, we are going to push, and we hope that we get a chance to push. If they don't allow us, I can assure all Ghanaians that within the first 100 days, definitely those taxes will be gone. But we are hoping that somehow,
you do it
when
before
we get to the chamber, we can fight to ensure that we clear.
You have a couple of days to do that. Now let's go back to our new discovery of you. We know that you're a very passionate lawmaker and lawyer, but we didn't know that you sing. And so let's go back to that.
That one.
That is a recent discovery.
SOG.
SOG. Yeah. You're no longer.
You guys have to look for me. I need to win that Grammy Award.
We have to book you for VGMAs. You have to start from somewhere. So you start from TGMAs.
TGMAs.
3 music awards. Then you can go to
VGMAs.
You can go to so now VGMAs is now TGMAs. It's not Telesale Ghana Music Awards. So now we take you to the Grammys.
The Grammys. Yeah. Then Allah, I've become the world champion.
But how did we get here with Honorable Francis-Xavier Sosu doing music?
Well, I think it's about interest. You know, like people have hobbies.
Right.
And, I love music.
Okay.
I've learned several musical instruments. I haven't been able to focus, so I don't have anyone that I play so well. However, I've been doing vocals too.
Okay.
I mean, anytime I have the chance, I sing. Except that I haven't packaged it in the manner I've done this one.
Okay.
Way back, I think in 2000, that was when I did my first album.
I have
about 8 songs on that album. except I didn't go anywhere. You know, they didn't believe me. They didn't.
They had to give you. They had to give you a nod in a different jurisdiction because
said, we are not ready for you.
Not ready for
Nobody
you.
Listen to me.
Right.
So they didn't listen to me. I remember even I was doing churches. I was trying to, but some of the churches come and go cry. They will even sack you.
Yes.
They didn't believe in my ability.
You are killing the Holy Spirit there.
So, but I kept believing in that.
Right.
You know, I always say that you're a young person watching that. Keep believing in yourself. You see, people will not always believe what you believe. But if you keep believing what you believe and you work for what you believe, you encourage others to believe what you believe. Someday they will believe what you believe.
Right.
But if nobody believes you, at least have confidence to believe in your own ability. So I mean, in the secret of my heart, when I'm in my washroom, when I'm waking up at dawn, doing my devotional, there are a number of songs that keep running through me.
Wow.
And everything that happens in my life is like a song, right? So I have a number of them. This one, it was just after one campaign day that I was so tired, and my guys heard me singing, and they said, but this is a nice song. And I said, yeah. Then they arranged and got me some studio guys who brought a mobile studio to my office. So I decided to give it a try. In fact, when I sang, I thought it was just doing a demo. Yeah. But when I finished and I listened to it, so I thought they were going to make me sing again. Yeah. But they said, no.
You got it.
That's it. I mean, I'm not serious. They said, yeah. So I sang it just once.
Oh.
And they said that was it. So, I mean, thankfully, Reverend Steve Mensah, Bishop Steve Mensah, who has been charismatic evangelistic ministry, who has also been a father to me, gave me his choir, I think his music director, Kafui, who put the pieces together with some beautiful choristers, and my PA, who is like an anointed PA. And then these guys did the backing. And I mean, as though we're just joking, but then everything went together. Then we now have like Race for Grace, which is doing quite well. People love the story because everyone needs grace, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, look at Ghana now. Parliament of Ghana needs grace.
Serious grace.
We are going nowhere.
Because we might not sit down until the 7th of December.
Look at the CD.
Very
the
possible.
CD needs grace. The dollar will finish the CD. Everything is grace. The ball of kinky, they need grace. In fact, everywhere, the grace now everywhere.
We all need it.
In the ghetto, you need grace.
Yes.
On the street, you need grace. In your office, you need grace. Wherever you are.
Right.
So life is a race, and without grace, you cannot run that race. And that's why we put these pieces together.
That's the message in the song.
Yeah, I hope that somebody catches the message.
Oh my God.
Somebody is encouraged. Somebody is empowered. You know, to rise up.
I would say that it's not out of order that you have a song that speaks to humans, and because again we've known you as a human rights lawyer, someone who is more passionate about the well-being of other people. So if you want to grab Honorable's books, you can go on Amazon and name them. I Am the Street Lawyer is one that I think that for young people, and this is a conversation I want us to have before we wrap up this conversation, because we're about to wrap up. There are a lot of lawyers coming up. People are going to the law school like it didn't used to be the case.
That's true.
It used to be that you have to come from a family of lawyers to even get that kind of opportunity to get. But now it's different. What do you think has changed, and is it for good or bad?
First of all, I think our society is growing, so it must be for good.
Okay.
It is for good because even when you look at a lawyer citizen ratio now, it's not too good.
Okay.
We are about 34 million now, and the demand for lawyers are still really, really high. Remember that we have a lot of Commonwealth jurisdictions now, and if we have so much lawyers, it can even get to a point we can actually export lawyers. Okay. Because all you need to do is go and take like the bar somewhere, then you can actually go somewhere and do something. In my view, it is good. It is good because they provide more opportunities, for many more people. What usually happens when it happens that way is that sometimes quality is also compromised. Right. And so the caution must rather be that whilst we endeavor to train many more people, everyone must put in a lot to deliver quality to people who need our services as lawyers. And so, and the law sells itself. If you do a good job, people will always come to you. you know, law and integrity is just one. I recall that if I know for sure before God and man that those allegations that General Legal Counsel made against me at that time, if they were really true, maybe today I won't be a lawyer.
A lawyer.
Because then, if you don't have integrity, who would bring his case to you that you should go and do his case?
Absolutely.
But obviously, because all of them were just trumped up things, I mean, somehow God took them away, and I'm still here doing and working very well.
Wonderful.
In the law firm here, we have over 10 lawyers that I'm working with.
Oh, wonderful.
And they all work very assiduously to make sure that we represent the client and the client's interest. So I think it's a good thing that we are having minimal law. In fact, I think what has changed is the fact that there are a number of young people who have gone through the system and who believe that the system has not been exclusively for certain people without others.
Yeah.
And so I recall that when it comes to Parliament now, one of the laws I have brought there is to abolish the General Legal Counsel, and in place of the General Legal Counsel, set up a new system that would open up the law school. So people getting access to the general to law school will not be based on the whims and caprices of some people, but it will be very objective. And when somebody is qualified, you get a chance, and it won't be because maybe you know a CMSC or you know or your father is from a rich family or you are from a legal background. That's why you don't get a chance.
Right.
And if you remember, about 2 or 3 years ago, there were some 499 students who were denied access to law school, and I was part of those who did a demonstration, you know, in their favor. And in Parliament, we really fought so hard, and they took them back into the school. Some of them today, they call and say thank you because you fought for us. We are lawyers today, and for me, that is what leadership must bring about, impacting people and improving the life of others.
And you've done that so well. Thank you so much for sitting with us out of your very busy schedule, because I know right from here you're going to another engagement, but thank you so much for sitting with us. And it has been an exciting, very interesting, I must say, conversation with Honorable Francis-Xavier Sosu. Thank you so much.
The pleasure.
Now, right here on Voting Voices, like I told you earlier, what we intend to do is to give you a reason to vote for your MP or your Member of Parliament in your constituency. If you have enough reason, if you live around the Medina area, if you have enough reason today to vote for Honorable, good luck on the December 7th, because we would like to see a victory for the best man. Okay, thank you so much for joining us right here on Voting Voices, right here on MX24. My name is Miriam Udwak Mensah. See you again.